All right, we're solving absolute value inequalities. So I've got 4 examples here that we're going to talk about. Our first one says absolute value of x is greater than 3. So the absolute value of x is going to be greater than 3. So we're trying to figure out what numbers could x possibly be. So let's kind of just brainstorm and think about it here. Well, what if x was 1? The absolute value of 1 is 1. Is 1 greater than 3? No, so x can't be 1. What if x is 5? Absolute value of 5 is 5, which is greater than 3. So x could be 5. What about negative 5? Could x be negative 5? The absolute value of negative 5 is also 5, and 5 is greater than 3. So somehow we said x could be 5 and it could be negative 5, but it can't be 1, which is in the middle of those. And that's where figuring out the answer comes in. So how you solve an absolute value inequality is what you do is, when you get to the point when it's absolute value, and then you've got the inequality sign, you break it up into 2 different inequalities. The first inequality is going to look exactly the same. So it's going to be x is greater than 3. So I write the same inequality just without the absolute value symbol. And my second one, what happens is, I take my x again, but I flip my symbol. So it's going to be less than, and I change the sign. So I flip the symbol and change the sign. And this is saying our answer can be x is greater than 3 or x is less than negative 3. And if I were to graph that, so I'd have negative 3, 0, 3. So x is greater than 3 is going to look like that. X is negative 3 is going to look like that. So basically it's saying our answer is all numbers except for the numbers in between negative 3 and 3. Anything else will work, but anything between negative 3 and 3 will not work. So this is our answer. All right, so let's look at the next one. X, absolute value of x is less than 3. So same idea. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite it as is. And then the second one, I'm just going to flip it. Or x is, I flip my sign and I make it negative 3. So if I were to graph this one, this is saying x is less than 3. Or x is greater than negative 3. So x is less than 3 is going to look like that. X is greater than negative 3 is going to look like that. They're going to meet. So this one's basically the opposite answer of the first one we did, where the only possible answers are the numbers between negative 3 and 3. So that's example 2. So let's look at example 3 here. It says the absolute value of x is greater than negative 3. If you ever get to the point where you've got absolute value, then your inequality sign, then a negative number, you can stop. And you're going to give your answer as one of 2 things. Either no solution or infinite solution. So that's where your common sense needs to come into play. So let's look at this. This is saying the absolute value of x. We know absolute value is going to be a positive number. So the absolute value of x, so it's going to be some positive number, is going to be greater than negative 3. Well, we know every single positive number that could ever exist will be greater than negative 3. So no matter what we put in for x, we're going to get a positive number, and we're going to get something greater than negative 3. So this is infinite solution, because any number will work for x, because it will give us a positive number, which will be greater than negative 3. So let's look at our last one. The absolute value of x is less than negative 3. We know absolute value is a positive number. We just talked about it in the last one. How could a positive number be less than negative 3? That's not possible. Positive number is always going to be greater than a negative number. So this one's not possible, so it is no solution. All right, so that is example 1. I got one more video coming.